Well, we have made it to a brand new year, and it is now 2024. So I'm going to give you my picks for my 15 most anticipated movies of 2024. Hi, my name is Nathan, and I talk about a bunch of movies on this channel. If you're new here, down below in the comment section, share your picks for your most anticipated movies of 2024. Also, you might notice my background is a little bit different. That's because I am in a hotel room in a hotel at Las Vegas, and so I am really high up off the ground, which is kind of interesting because I've never filmed a video in a high-rise building before, and so that's how you might notice that the background is different and the lighting's a little bit off, but that's not going to stop me from filming videos. So these are my picks for the 15 most anticipated movies of the year. Share your picks in the comments. If you enjoy this video, click the like button and be sure to subscribe. It really does help. And with that said, let's just get straight into it. 15, Venom 3. Now, Venoms 1 and 2 are films that I enjoy enough, but they've never knocked it out of the park with the SSU quite yet. The original Venom is a movie that's entertaining while you're watching it, but there's several issues in the plot and the story flow, the structure, and its villain. And so I always really couldn't go positive on the original Venom. But with Venom 2, I think it took the dynamic of Eddie and Venom to a more fun level, and I feel like that's going to be with Venom 3 as well. We don't even have a poster, we don't have a synopsis or anything, but I just am excited for another movie with Eddie and Venom because they're just really entertaining. Number 14, The Karate Kid 2. Now, in my household, The Karate Kid is very big. Every time a new season of Cobra Kai drops, we watch the new season of Cobra Kai, and so the Karate Kid franchise is a big part of in my house, and we get a new Karate Kid film. This one is a sequel to the 2010 Jackie Chan's The Kung Fu Kid, and it's a sequel to that one, but I feel like it's connected to the TV show because it has Ralph Macchio returning as Daniel LaRusso. So with that, they haven't really confirmed that yet. They've said that it's not directly tied to Cobra Kai, but I feel like it is because Ralph Macchio is returning, and when you add Ralph Macchio in the mix, I'm immediately excited for this new Karate Kid. Speaking of the Kung Fu Kid, number 13 is Kung Fu Panda 4. So I am a longtime fan of the Kung Fu Panda franchise. I grew up watching all three movies, and I just rewatched the original Kung Fu Panda a couple days ago, and I still thoroughly enjoy that movie. But part of what makes the first two Kung Fu Pandas so good is that they managed to take a plot line about animals doing martial arts and turn them and have some emotion to it. It's kind of like a Pixar movie where it takes a ridiculous premise, turns it on its head, and adds emotion and relatability to it. And that's what the Kung Fu Panda movies have done really well. So with Kung Fu Panda 4, we have a trailer. The Poe's charm is still there, and you have a fun story with Awkwafina as a side character and the Chameleon as a villain.
Powerful shape-shifting sorceress, the Chameleon.
How do I find the Chameleon?
It looks like a lot of fun from the trailers. I will say I'm a little bit skeptical because they removed the Furious 5, and I would say Kung Fu Panda 3 is my least favorite of the trilogy because the Furious 5 are a little bit sidelined. But as a longtime fan of the Kung Fu Panda franchise, I'm still excited for Kung Fu Panda 4. Number 12, Furiosa. This is the latest film in the Mad Max franchise, and the trailer that they did drop for this one as a spin-off to Mad Max Fury Road, it just looks like more of that. Mad Max Fury Road, considered by many to be the best of the Mad Max franchise, and this one looks like it has more of that Mad Max weirdness, those awesome action sequences. I will say the reason it's not higher up on the list, I feel like it's higher for a bunch of other people. The simple reason for that is because when I look at the trailer, I just see a bunch of CGI and green screen. To me, that's a little bit distracting, and so hopefully, I hope there's more practical stuff involved with the making of Furiosa. But new Mad Max film, spin-off to Mad Max Fury Road, I am very excited.
It's fantastic.
Number 11, Joker Folie à Deux. I do not know if I pronounced that correctly, But the sequel to Joker, the only R-rated movie to have grossed $1 billion, and they're doing a sequel to that, directed by Todd Phillips yet again, and I think that's a really good sign that Todd Phillips is returning, Joaquin Phoenix is returning, and that's another really good sign. The reason it's not in my top 10, like, I don't know what to make of the fact that it's a musical and Harley Quinn is Lady Gaga and things like that. And so, when you're making this R-rated psychological thriller a musical, I don't really know what to make of that. And the original Joker, I felt like it was kind of just a great standalone story about a man that drives into madness. And so, but I'm excited for Joker 2 because Todd Phillips is directing it and I trust him with this. But also, I will be a little bit skeptical and on the iffy side. We'll kick off the top 10 with Dune Part 2. Now, I know a bunch of you guys, much like Furiosa, have this movie higher up on your most anticipated list. As for me, I have seen the original Dune from 2021, and I do enjoy it, and I just rewatched it like yesterday, and I just thought that this movie, that the original Dune, having reevaluated some of my opinions on it, it's just a nice sci-fi movie that has a bunch of world building, and I really dug that aspect to it.
That's great!
The reason that this movie's not higher is that the original Dune to me is not in particular targeted towards me. It's not particularly my type of thing. But the trailers they released for Dune 2, they looked epic. The performances seemed great. Denis Villeneuve was set to direct this movie yet again. And so, with Dune Part 2, it's a movie that I feel like is going to be this large, sweeping epic, maybe with more action sequences than the first Dune. And so, really good signs that this is going to be something special. And it's probably going to get nominated Best Picture again. But, yeah, I really enjoyed the original film. Really excited for this one as well. Number 9 is Argyle. Now, if you don't know what this is the latest Matthew Vaughn film. Matthew Vaughn is the director of X-Men First Class, Layer Cake, the Kingsman movies, and in particular with the Kingsman movies, he just did a really good job of having these spy elements. It's kind of a spoof of James Bond, while also not being like self-parody. It's not doing that, and so it's just a fun British spy film. Like, I watched the Kingsman movies for the first time like last week, and they're just really fun spy films. And so when he's doing another spy movie, the trailers, they've looked good. And they have that like Matthew Vaughn very distinct flavor to it, and they have that sense of fun to it. And so with Argyle, as somebody who just watched all the Kingsman movies, very excited for what he's going to do with Argyle. Oh yeah, and not to mention, there's a really star-studded cast. Like, if you were wondering what Henry Cavill was doing now that he's not in The Witcher or he's not in the DCEU anymore, this is what he is doing. You also got Samuel L. Jackson, Sam Rockwell, and a whole list of famous people. Number 8, Godzilla X Kong, The New Empire. Now, this is one where I don't know if it's going to be really, really good. I'm pretty sure it's not going to be really, really good. And by the end of the year, this one will be like smack in the middle of my 2024 movies list. But I will say, every time a new MonsterVerse movie comes out, I always have some kind of fun with it, especially the ones with King Kong, because I'm more of a King Kong person than a Godzilla person. And so Godzilla X Kong is a movie where Godzilla and Kong team up, and the trailers just look like more dumb fun, where you have two monsters battling each other, Kong with a robot arm, several other monkeys with Kong, and so just looks like more dumb fun. I'm not expecting the human characters to be that developed. I'm not expecting this level of quality movie. I'm not expecting that. I just want a solid, dumb, yet really fun time at the movies, and that's what this movie looks like it's doing. So I'm excited. Number 7, and I'm going to go with Ballerina. This, if you don't know what this one is, this is the latest film in the John Wick franchise, and this is a spin-off to a character in John Wick Chapter 3. So, with Ballerina, the character herself, I'm not really all that interested in, I'm going to be honest. The John Wick 3, she didn't really appear all that much in that movie. And so the fact that they're doing a spin-off of her is a little bit interesting, but I'm not fully grabbing the hook there. But it stars Ana de Armas, who's an up-and-comer. Of course, it's a John Wick movie. The John Wick movies are known for their awesome action sequences and things like that. And so anything that's in the John Wick franchise, I am really excited to see. Now, it's directed by Len Wiseman, the director of some of the Underworld movies and the Total Recall remake. And so, maybe we won't have the same style as like Chaz Stahelski with the other John Wick movies. But I'm sure that this movie will deliver awesome action. And hey, John Wick 4 ended up being one of my favorite movies of 2023. So, hopefully this one is also really good. Number 6 is Deadpool 3. Now, the first two Deadpools are just really fun Marvel Comics movies that have Ryan Reynolds perfectly cast as Deadpool, where he's just kind of this man-child breaking the fourth wall, bunch of jokes, inappropriate ones, but bunch of jokes, and it's just this childlike persona. And so we're getting Deadpool 3, and this one is set in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and that's what I'm really looking forward to with this film, is that you're actually getting Deadpool in the MCU. Now, there's a side to me that seems a little bit cynical, and I'm excited for an MCU project because it's bringing back people from different universes. And I will say, it's bringing Wolverine back, and I don't know if that's the best idea to bring him back. And the simple reason for that is because I think Logan closed out Wolverine's arc so well that it's hard to resurrect him and bring him back in a satisfying way. But perhaps Kevin Feige does know what he's doing. The Multiverse Saga hasn't been going great, but since this is the only MCU movie coming out in 2024, there's something to be excited about right there. Number 5 is going to be Inside Out 2, and the original Inside Out is just a great Pixar movie where it explores into quite literally the mind of this girl, and it manages to have so many emotions in it, quite literally and figuratively, and Pixar has a great track record. So, the fact that we're getting a sequel to Inside Out 2, and the trailers being, the teaser trailer that they dropped being just this kind of a fun and energetic trailer where they're bringing in new emotions like anxiety is shown in the trailer. But if you look in the ending, right after the trailer, right after the title card Inside Out 2 in the trailer, there's like embarrassment, there's of course anxiety, there's like like 4 more emotions that they're adding. I think that's the right way to go. Add more emotions for Riley. And the original Inside Out, fantastic. I know a lot of you guys probably weren't too fond of Elemental. I really dug Elemental. And so, just a movie that I feel like is a very safe play for Pixar, but one that I can be really excited for because I trust that it's going to be another great Pixar movie. Number 4, A Quiet Place Day 1. And so, I am a big fan of the first 2 Quiet Place movies. They just do so good at having barely any dialogue. The first one in particular has barely any dialogue, and it manages to still build tension all throughout the film. Like, it still manages to have you actually care about the characters, and it builds tension. And so that's what stood out about the original Quiet Place, and really both of these movies stand out because they know how to provide the thrills while not having to say much. And so, with A Quiet Place Day 1, you're getting A Quiet Place on Day 1 with Jimon Honsu's character as in this movie, and I guess it's about his family. So the reason this one's not in my top 3 is that it's not being directed by John Krasinski, who directed the first 2 A Quiet Place movies. And also, because it is Day 1, if it's only set in Day 1, I don't know how that will play out with the people in this movie because they probably haven't figured out what makes the aliens tick yet. And so I feel like it's just going to be the alien like massacring a bunch of people. But hey, I am really excited for anything in the Quiet Place franchise. Kicking off our top 3 at the same spot that it was last year, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. I am a big fan of the Ghostbusters franchise. The original Ghostbusters from 1984 is one of my favorite movies of all time. And Ghostbusters Afterlife, the one they did just a couple years back, I listed down as my favorite movie of 2021. That's just how much I love this franchise, and so I simply trust that they're going to make a great film with Frozen Empire. But even the trailer they released, I felt like they were doing something original and new while having sort of the same thing. So it's back at the New York setting of the Ghostbusters. That's interesting and that's cool because the first two Ghostbusters are set in New York, and this one is also going to be set in New York, and unlike Afterlife, not set in some sort of isolated town or anything. So this one's in New York, and in the middle of July, there's an Arctic freeze that sort of comes up to people, and so that's a really clever concept, and the fact that, and so I trust that this is going to be a really fun time, and as somebody that loved Ghostbusters Afterlife, really excited for this one. Our runner-up is Alien Romulus. So this is the latest film in the Alien franchise. I like the Alien franchise, especially the Alien and Aliens. Those are really good movies. And so with Alien Romulus, if you don't know what this is, you get a film set in between Alien and Aliens, and we don't really have much of a premise or anything like that. But I think that this is, I can safely say that this is going to be a really good movie. Like, Ridley Scott has seen it. He said it was great. And they haven't released any sort of trailer for this movie. But a really good sign to me is that it's directed by the director of Evil Dead 2013 and Don't Breathe. Those are two horror movies that are very solid. They are very horrific at times. And so I feel like this movie will go back to the roots of the original Alien, be more of a horror-esque film, and that's a good sign to me. Like, and hopefully we get one of our better Alien additions in this franchise in years. And so I'm really excited. We don't have a trailer yet. I don't really know the premise of this movie, but the fact that it is directed by the guy that directed Don't Breathe and Evil Dead 2013, really good sign. But my most anticipated movie of the year, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. So the Planet of the Apes trilogy with Rise of the Planet of the Apes, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, and War for the Planet of the Apes is just a great trilogy. Those are great movies right there. And they just tell a compelling story for Caesar. No! Caesar, who died in War of the Planet of the Apes, it's just really compelling, and how they were able to reboot it in such a fantastic way and make those three the best films of the entire franchise. So, with Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, you get a film that's basic premise is set generations after the original Planet of the Apes, not the original, but War for the Planet of the Apes, the original reboot trilogy. And I think that's the right way to go, where they're descendants of Caesar, and a new Planet of the Apes movie set in a different atmosphere. And it's directed by the guy that did the Maze Runner movies. I haven't seen the Maze Runner movies in years, but the trailer that they dropped, it looked amazing. It got me really excited for the Planet of the Apes, this Planet of the Apes movie, because it was a sequel to these reboots that I just absolutely love. So this is just a very safe play for me. But for that reason, I feel like of all the movies on this list, it's the one that's most likely to be really good, the one that's safest to be really good. So, when all is said and all is done, when I'm just looking at my list of most anticipated, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is my most anticipated movie of the year. There you have it. Those are my picks down below in the comment section. Share your picks over on my channel. I have more content like this. Check those out right now. Thank you guys so much for sticking around to the end, and I will see you in the next one.